Welcome to Game Soup. It's a game design podcast where we throw ideas in a pot and see what's cooking. I'm Chloe, and I'm joined as ever by Kayla. How are you doing, honey?
I'm doing good. I have recently moved flat. I am coming out of the depths of Heatwave madness because I had a terrible house move in the middle of a horrific heatwave. And
yeah, I wouldn't recommend
if you're
it.
just joining us and need a reminder of what I have going on, I am a wheelchair user.
But you use it so well.
Yeah. So it was a pretty rough move, but I am now feeling more settled. I have a balcony now. That's very nice and exciting.
Ooh. Wait, are you up a flight of stairs?
No, I'm up a lift.
Oh, okay, good.
I was up a lift last place too. I've gone down a floor. This is a much cooler property.
Oh, okay.
Which is good.
I guess I've not visited your house since you moved the time before last, huh?
No, the last place of mine you visited was the one-bedroom place we were using as a two-bedroom.
Yeah.
You've not been in London since I'd started living in nice places.
No. To me, London is just dingy rooms and hospitals. So
Fair enough. But what have you been doing in the time? Well, this is actually a thing. This will sink into an idea I mentioned. But I do feel like this terrible move in the heatwave combined really has fucked with my perception of time. Because at the time of recording, it has not even been a full week since my moving day started. I feel like it has been months.
I mean, moving always feels like that.
Yeah.
The heatwave cannot be helping.
But how have you been in the time since we last spoke?
I've been good. I got threatened by a customer that they'd break my legs.
Oh,
and...
shit. Well, that's not so good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm over it. I've recovered from the trauma of not wanting to go to work by going to work. And yeah, I'm kind of losing track of the days myself, more so because my days off are different every week. So I'm like, okay, we're recording on this on Monday, and then to me, this is my Saturday. It's my day off.
Yeah,
So-
no, that makes sense. Like, since you started this job, you've definitely missed our date of recording more.
More than once, yeah. No,
Not to try and put you on blast, but I'm just like, yeah, no, I can see that, like, when we've agreed a day, you are not knowing what day it is.
And then it'll be like, I agree with you a day, and then it's like suddenly I get a new rota, and it's all like, oh, Chloe, can you come in and cover a shift? And it's like, I guess. It's like, previously I was all part-time, so I just always have like 3 or 4 days off in a week, but...
Yeah, which is probably better for you, but...
Oh, yeah.
Needs must. But yeah, no, I remember at least once, I called you at a regular time, and you answered on the call being like, I'm at work, sorry.
Yeah. I'm just in the office. I could have recorded, like, if you could have recorded my Discord audio, it would have sounded like shit, but we could have done it.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't... Like, that is obviously very doable, but I don't necessarily know off the top of my head how to do it, so that would be annoying to do.
Not ideal, but...
Yeah, but, no. I did have an idea. Like I say, I felt like it was a month. And also I feel this is also partly an effect being outside by yourself in a heatwave has. And I kind of feel like a heatwave is almost a 4-dimensional space.
Yeah.
Like, being outside in a heatwave, it simultaneously feels like every other time you have been in a heatwave. Like, I feel it brings up fresh emotions from, like, any other significant events that ever occurred at a peak of summer. Any other time you've just sort of been hot. You feel like you could run into things from, like, past, present, and future. Like I say, it feels like you've been out for a couple of minutes, or maybe a few hours, or perhaps even a week. And then when you leave, like, real life suddenly sort of, like, presses back into you, like, and you haven't even registered it.
Yeah, it's like you can feel the wall of cool as you go into a nice building or something.
Yeah, definitely the way, like, especially if you... Because on the second day of our move, which I guess I'd probably describe as a near week-long process, on the second day of our move, I mainly just loitered around places in the shopping centre, rather than either our old flat, which was terribly conductive, and our new flat that was dirty and full of furniture that wasn't ours. So yeah, but then there's this thing of like, yeah, when you exit a shopping centre, which is a temperature-controlled environment, you are hitting a wall of atmosphere. You stick to the shadows. It's
I mean, we were looking at some unused properties in a shopping centre this week, just cause, and like even in the air conditioned like outer areas, like you know how they have the big corridors between shops and whatever. It's all interior, but it's like exterior of the shop.
The thing that makes a shopping centre a centre and not a street.
And not a street. Yes.
Yeah, I understand what you mean.
Yeah,
for our international listeners,
a mall.
A mall.
An indoor market.
Yeah, they're always a bit air-conned, and then where I was specifically hanging around loads was Waterstones, even though I was like, I can't buy any books, I'm in the middle of moving, but like they had even more aircon on. And
but it's like we went into this abandoned property and it was like there's suddenly another wall of cool as you go in because it didn't have any insulation in the ceiling or anything. It was just like, oh, this is even better.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's like layers when you go in there. I don't know. I think that could be an interesting thing for a game. What I posted out on Blue Sky. I did a lot of Heatwave Madness posting. I think my best one.
I saw that.
Yeah, some of it was funny.
Yeah, some of them were good. I laughed. You got an exhale through my nose sometimes.
I feel like it's maybe not a positive trait that I am able to make losing my mind seem like I'm just posting funny jokes a lot.
Well, content is king.
Yeah, it's maybe a good instinct for a stand-up comic, but it's maybe not always the best thing for a person. But like, yeah, one thing I posted was like, oh, I could definitely imagine a daytime Heatwave version of Follow Me in the Night. And for a time I was thinking about that, and then I was like, oh, but with this 4-dimension idea I'm saying, there's also a kind of like Infinite Dance Floor Corntin, the remix thing.
Yeah.
I think you could do something interesting with a procedurally generating, looping, like, 4-dimensional Heatwave outdoor space.
Yeah, and you're experiencing heat waves of past and future at the same time.
Yeah, I think there's a thing, like, you're getting your own past, and sometimes even, like, glimpses of your own future. And then also maybe, like, whatever randomizer you use to generate, like, what's happening when you turn down an individual street, whether that's, like, drawing cards or rolling dice and stuff. Like, certain extreme options are, like, far future, where you're getting, like, apocalyptic visions, and other options are, like, deep past, which is where you get cooler spots. And there's also the thing of, because it's outside of the Heatwave, there's like, is this a real sci-fi thing, or are you a person?
Are you just hallucinating?
Yeah. Is it like cartoon mirage stuff? Like, I think you could do a lot of stuff that is wacky, but in a not, I say wacky, they're not wacky, more like unsettling unreality, but in a way
undetached from reality,
cohesive. A question, because originally, like I said, I thought of like a Follow Me in the Night thing. Do you think this game has to be solo? Or duet? But do you think it has to have like a protagonist character, not a group?
I think if it is solo, it lets you play better with, is it hallucination or real? Because it's like, shared hallucinations, it's like hard to...
Yeah, that's why I'm like, if it's multiplayer, I do think...
I guess you could have like a mechanic for like, okay, so you turn the corner first and you see, what do you see? And you explain it to everybody else, and then that becomes part of their shared understanding of the scene or whatever.
It's more what I was going to say is I think if it's multiplayer, it's like you're not playing multiple characters. I think multiplayer could be 2-player in that like one of you is GMing the Heatwave and the other is the person stuck in it. Or, you know, there's either way one central protagonist, maybe you're like rotating that role in a storytelling sense, or one central protagonist and like a GM, and then if there's a third or more player, they're only ever, like, single scene NPCs who are maybe hallucinations or maybe, like, real people.
Yeah.
But, like, you're not with another person in the Heatwave. That's a fundamentally different experience.
Yeah.
What would be the end point for this? Is it just getting inside somewhere, or is it...
It's all a journey to get an ice cream from the Sainsbury's around the corner. But, of course, around the corner, it becomes several miles and trip through deserts and whatever.
Yeah, that's one thing I think if you... Because I was also saying to my housemate, I was like, I feel like our Heatwave Madness move really had the energy of, like, the centre of an anthology film, taking place in London in the Heatwave, as various characters come in and come out as they help us. A great ending beat was the fact that our estate agent gained a soul. Like, our estate agent in our old place at the time we were moving on, the very last days we had to go over the keys back, like, which was the third day of our move, I think. I only heard this secondhand because I was not at that place. I was done. I'd been taken off the board, X'd out. But my housemate, this story is anonymous enough, so it's not identifiable. But my housemate told me how, like, as the estate agent arrived to take back the keys and stuff was still not ready, they were explaining how it'd been, like, you know, the Heatwave had been going on. They and I had both not eaten properly in multiple days. The estate agent just asked sort of two questions. One was like, are you by yourself? First was like, well, I've had this friend helping me, but, like, they're just gone now. And the estate agent going, oh yeah, your housemate is a wheelchair user, right? And it's like, yeah, she's been helping, but, like, there's only so much she could do. And then asking, it's really hot in here. And it's like, yeah. It's like, does that window not open? Pointing to our living room window, which is a giant glass door. I was like, it's just, that window has never opened. And
we've been telling you in monthly emails.
Well, there's nothing could be, it was a full, like, wall-size window, so it probably was a safety issue, the fact that it couldn't open, but it has never opened, and it was a very warm building, which was pretty horrific. And my housemate turns around as they've been explaining this, and also they'd been sort of apologising about the place not being clean enough, which I think was probably maybe unnecessary on my housemate's part, but they felt bad about it. And having... I think, the estate agent's last thing upon hearing the window never opens is just going, oh, my housemate turns around, and when they turn back, the estate agent has picked up something and started helping to clean.
Oh, God.
And that's like a centerpiece of that anthology, isn't it? Like, the anthology film is of the thing of, the estate agent, like, has a moment of going, like, I think I need to help these people.
It follows the story of this estate agent realizing other people exist.
Yeah, like, that's their little storyline. Our main central grouping thing is the move, people coming in and out. I had a friend of the podcast, Joe Winter, helping a lot with moving, as well as some of my housemates. They get their own sort of storylines as they have to go off to individual different things. Various, like, moving people we hired or were called in who had to, like, pick stuff up.
Men in lorries.
They get their own storylines as well. Even people in shops we've entered into or stuff. Like, because I would, my thing of just, like, loitering around various shops would be a little guide as intro to other things.
Yeah.
And, like, us closing off the previous place would be the touchstone of this film. Even though in reality we then had, like, 2 to 3 days more work. We'd simplify the order. We'd simplify some of my characters. I don't think my autism would be explicit. The assumption would be I'm just like this because of the hardship of being in a wheelchair.
Yeah, and you're a bit of a nerd and you've got glasses and stuff, but it's not, like, explicit.
No, because I don't think my autism comes off in the nerdy way. I think it more comes off in, like, communicating in a very weird, strange, sometimes unnuanced, like, that way. But that just sort of comes across as, like, she just doesn't give any fucks because her life's been so hard.
Oh, God. So amazing. We've written Richard Curtis's new film. Heatwave madness.
I'm thinking more of it like that episode of The Simpsons with steamed hams.
Oh yeah,
but
22 Tales from Springfield, yeah.
Yeah,
Short
but that's so
stories
we've got a
from
film, a little segment of film brunch. The side segment, and we got like a nice setting for a game, and it's a setting that I do think that 4D Heatwave does have to build in mechanics and gameplay to its setting. This can't be like a setting you write and then like, oh, play it in anything. It's like, no, this needs to be like a capsule game.
Yeah.
I think that's the first starting point of it. Do you have any ideas, just to drag this episode a bit longer, of what mechanics you'd want to do for that? Would you randomize the stuff with dice or with cards or...
I think... See, now my brain's gone with you suggesting it as a setting. It's like, what if it was like Persona and like the heat is bringing out the mirages of the unreal world, and it's like people's true feelings come out in the heat. I don't know, it's a totally different pitch, but...
I think that could almost be an element of it, and it's the same with the thing of the ambiguity of hallucinations, like of hallucinations or real unreality,
yeah,
or heat deprived daydreams or dissociation and stuff. But you'd have the thing of like, oh yeah, I saw this person from my past, and they were accompanied by a ghost that like told me how they really feel. Did that happen, or was that the heat wave? Did I just like pass out for a minute and have a that could also be part of it. But I'm just saying, like, I think because of the fact that the setting itself has to randomly generate and warp and alter, that's built into the mechanics of whatever you do. And because it's like a solo or single player game, I think the mechanics of whatever your actions are very...
Yeah, I think rather than dice or cards, I think you have a big, like, cloth bag of written out prompts in this bag, so like you have to reach into this warm place to pull them out, and it's like...
And if you don't, depending on how certain prompts are resolved, sometimes they're going back in the bag.
Yeah.
I like that. I also like the idea of like, maybe there's like a bit of a life path thing for like generating your character, and then as you do that, that's like creating scraps you're putting in the bag.
Yeah.
They said this is a really weird coincidence, because that is what I was thinking of doing partly as a mechanic for a solo mode I will do for the new edition of Psycho Dungeon.
Yeah.
Using like a cup of scraps that you're writing stuff on, and that's generating the dungeon you'd be going through solo.
Yeah, I can see that.
I was like, oh, that's a funny coincidence. Because I don't think of us as massively similar designers always.
No, we're not often in sync, but I think like that scraps thing is kind of like what we're doing. We're like building a rolling table in Cleric game, but you write down the thing and then you roll a dice for it, but it's like you could as easily just put them into a bag.
Yeah.
Or like a cup or whatever, bowl in the middle of the table.
A receptacle.
Sure.
I think the reason I was thinking of it as like scraps of paper in a receptacle is because sounds silly. So I have always watched loads of Guy Montgomery's Guy Spelling Bee.
I see clips of that on TikTok.
Oh, it's really good. You can find a lot of it on YouTube. Don't tell anyone. After like the amazing tear Kirsty Webeck went on last season, they instituted anti-winner technology, and Demi Adejuyigbe, as seen on Dropout and various other things, fell victim to this anti-winner technology, and it's an injustice. You've been watching the World Cup?
I've not been watching it, but I got given Scotland in the work pool, so I'm kind of not into it anymore.
Damn, yeah, I think you are now officially out, and
I am officially
your manager
out.
has quit.
I did hear that on the radio, yeah.
Yeah,
So it's going well.
Yeah, well...
This is how Scotland can still win.
I do love this. There's a fun thing about group stage into knockout stage, which I think when I revisit my football game will be how I approach it, because it is the thing of, losing a match and then figuring out how you can still try and get in, and that cost disappearing and it then being reliant on other people. There can be something fun to that. I don't know. I feel maybe when I eventually do get back to that football game, it will probably be a bit like the new edition of Psycho Dungeon when I do that. have a couple of different game modes almost, which are kind of almost like, well, this is almost an alternative game. Like, I think bringing in some of that collection influence to new games that I make that are more singular, and I guess also it's that thing of a lot of people now like solo modes on otherwise group games, so that also kind of opens a door into approach. Because I feel, maybe I'll make something that's a bit less roleplay, more, here's a game you could play with your... Here's a tarot-based card game you could play with your friend, like, with some slight, like, theme elements. As well as then, here's this, like, one-shot session game you can play with it, versus, here's this more granular week-by-week thing you could play with. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's all sort of under the same umbrella.
Yeah, because they'd all link to the same, I think, original setup of this idea of, like, Asphodel FC and this, like, Fate Ball, or maybe I go with that idea I originally thought of calling it Major Arcana League Football, because that's kind of fun.
Yeah, and then you have the different, like, leagues or whatever as the different games, maybe.
And it could, that I think could be one, I don't know, I think it's an interesting thing to, be, I can see ways... Last year, I remember, I was having this sort of guilty feeling about the fact that a lot of the ideas I was working on were revisions of old ideas. And I was like, have I thought of all my good ideas? And now I'm instead thinking about it more in the fact that, like, sometimes I explore an idea a lot, hit a stumbling block, and then ice it. And maybe it takes years to unlock that. But when I do, the game will be better for the work I did originally, and also then getting to meet that work as a more accomplished designer. Like, we've got a episode way deep in this podcast about how I'd had this long-running white whale of a Frankenstein game, and if you check on my Patreon at the moment... Yeah,
now you're doing it.
Yeah, you can see a preview of that, which I've only really been able to work out because of stuff like a lot of conversations I've had with Laurie and having read other games that have used tarot. It's like I couldn't have cracked that game 6 years ago when I started, but all of the time of thinking about it and thinking about what I wanted with this thing of being a retelling, with taking that nesting structure but also allowing it to branch, like, nothing's wasted.
Yeah, it's like having a conversation with a designer, but the other designer is you in the past.
Yes, exactly. Well, I think lunch is served. Do we want to kick this episode home?
Ding dong.
Ding
Little
dong.
bell noise.